Body fat on belly, thighs, or neck? Here's what it means if you have fat on your hips. It's because you have low testosterone levels in your blood. If you have a buffalo hump, it's because your insulin levels are too high. And if you have a belly button thin, it's because you are too stressed. It would be nice and easy to analyze a person's problems simply by understanding where their body fat is distributed. It's not that simple, but some clues can be found in where you accumulate fat, which can tell you what problems you have and why it has accumulated there. In this video, I will explain to you why you have excess fat in certain areas, what the causes are, and also what you can do to resolve it. Hello everyone, I am Gianluca Italiano, and today we are talking about fat deposits, and how your hormones and habits can influence where fat is stored in your body. Before we begin, however, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, it's absolutely free, and it will help people like you get all the useful information to improve their health. Did you know that there are 3 types of fat in our body? The first is subcutaneous fat, which mainly forms around the hips, thighs, shoulders, and arms. The second is visceral fat, which is the fat under the belly, the so-called spare tire. Then there is brown adipose tissue, a particular type of fat because it is very healthy and normally increases and deposits in the shoulder and arm areas. What is the difference between these 3 types of fat? Is each one more or less dangerous? Is each one more or less healthy? Should each one be encouraged or not? If this is the initial differentiation between the various types of adipose tissues, let's look now at why certain areas of your body are richer in fat, why in your specific case, fat accumulates particularly in certain areas. Undoubtedly, genetics plays a part. In a 2017 study, it was highlighted that at least 50% of fat deposits are due to your genetics. If your mom, dad, and aunts have an excess of abdominal fat, you probably will too. If they have a buffalo hump, it is more likely that you will develop it too. However, we also know that there are correlations between the types of hormones you produce and where fat is deposited, and that's where you will make the real difference. Hormones are determined and produced according to your lifestyle, your diet, what you eat, the exercise you do, and how much you sleep. Do you have excess fat on your arms or perhaps on your chest, like gynecomastia? You probably have a deficiency in testosterone levels. This is a problem that is becoming more and more common after the age of 40 in men, but also in women. The manifestation is precisely flabby but heavy arms and sometimes even the formation of breasts in men. This is a problem that needs to be fixed as soon as possible because testosterone is not just about your reproductive capacity, but also your ability to develop muscle mass, burn fat, and improve your metabolism. It is therefore an essential hormone for your health. Do you want to know how to develop it, how to promote it? We made a very suitable video that you can find here at the top. A healthy diet, interval exercises, sleeping, and avoiding stress are among the most important things to increase testosterone levels and finally get rid of that ugly fat on your chest or arms that might bother you. Fat on the shoulders, behind the neck, or on the hips is an insulin problem. Maybe you suffer from the famous buffalo hump, that fat deposit right here that is very typical in some people, not necessarily overweight, but many think it is a postural problem. In reality, excess insulin spikes, can lead to fat deposition precisely in this area. It is typical of those who love sweets, those who like sweets, those who like bread and baked goods made with simple flour, refined flour. All these foods have the effect of increasing insulin exponentially every time, which on the one hand can lead to insulin resistance, and the consequences are terrible. It can lead to metabolic syndrome, a very big problem that affects several organs and could then lead you to diabetes. If you want to learn more about what metabolic syndrome is, we made a video about it, you can find it in the description. If you suffer from excess belly fat, very common even in thin people who have a normal weight but have a spare tire, the cause could be an excess of cortisol. What is cortisol? The stress hormone. Too much stress, too much anxiety, too many worries about the future alter your cortisol production, making you deposit fat exponentially right on your abdomen. Finally, particularly common in women, fat on the hips is common in women precisely because it is determined by an excess of estrogens. In this case, however, we refer back to the man's problem, because why does a woman have too many estrogens? Many times it is because she has too little testosterone, and therefore the hormones take the path of estrogens, having an imbalance between too many estrogens and too little testosterone. Then the fat deposits on the hips. You also get cellulite as a consequence of a hormonal imbalance. What are the remedies for each situation indicated? First of all these types of problems of excess fat in certain areas are to be fought with a healthy diet, exercise, sleeping, and sleeping a lot and in the right way. In this way, you will have a reduction in stress because you sleep more, a reduction in stress because you exercise, a reduction in stress and an increase in serotonin because you eat the right foods. If you are interested in knowing what the right foods are, there is a video on how to produce serotonin in the best way and what foods to eat. For now, let's get to the point. Do you have a problem like a camel hump? Then eliminate sweets. Do you have too much insulin? Eliminate sweets. Do you have a problem with excess fat in your arms, flabby arms, or gynecomastia? You have a problem with low testosterone. In this case, too, high-intensity exercise, even with weightlifting, absolutely eliminates simple sugars and refined carbohydrates. Is your problem visceral fat, excess belly fat? Maybe you are stressed, your cortisol is skyrocketing. At this point, apply meditation, yoga, deep breathing against anxiety. There is a video in our channel on how to combat anxiety through breathing. That video is just for you. And finally, if fat accumulates on the hips, then you probably have too many estrogens and too little testosterone. We go back to the previous advice. Promote the production of testosterone even if you are a woman by following the indications of the video that you will find here at the top or in our channel. In summary, it is not so important how much you weigh, it is not so important what your body mass index is. If the fat is the wrong kind, if the fat is distributed badly, if you have a spare tire, if you have excess visceral fat, you are much more at risk than a person who instead has a greater weight but has less belly. Mattia made a specific video talking about the main causes of a spare tire even when you are thin, and if this is your case, I invite you to go to that video. Apart from this, the other indications such as the buffalo hump, flabby arms, or an overly pronounced chest in men, like the hips in women, are due to hormonal imbalances that you can manage with the right diet, sleeping enough, exercising, and absolutely reducing alcohol consumption. We would like to know about your experience regarding the topic covered today. Share it with us in the comments, and if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask them. We will gladly respond. Your like would be a source of satisfaction for us, and of course, do not forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming publications.